limitations to providing support in Gaza. It's not about. Can you imagine what it takes to put your life on the line to go and try and get a bag of flour, knowing that in a previous situation or previous day, other people have been killed or wounded in that same situation. Yet, we are seeing large crowds of people that move towards checkpoints where there are armed people at these checkpoints, and they are firing on these crowds that get too close to the checkpoints. This is the number one concern for us. In order to operate effectively inside Gaza, we need to be able to move without armed forces near our convoys, near the movement of those convoys, or near where we do distributions. We are, of course, aware of criminal gangs inside Gaza, but if we are allowed to move where we want to move, on the routes we want to move, and to distribute in the places where we know civilians are, we can effectively mitigate all of those risks, and we can reach people safely.
I'm not recording or reporting, I'm just asking.
Yeah, I mean, a large number of trucks.
Yeah, I mean, we have the incident on Sunday, and there have been a couple of incidents since then, and absolutely, I mean, one, we are outraged that this has happened in association with our activities. It should never be allowed to happen, and it's absolutely unavoidable. So we know the reports of people being killed and people being wounded, and it's, as I said before, it's because of the way operations are being conducted inside Gaza. We have agreement in principle with the authorities on how we can operate inside Gaza, but we are not seeing the adherence or the follow-through on those agreements once we are inside Gaza. So people are putting their lives on the line, and they are dying because they are trying to access food assistance. That's how desperate it is. One of the main challenges we have is that the number of delays inside Gaza once we are moving from the entry points to Gaza to our final destination points inside Gaza. And if our trucks and our staff and our partners have to wait 10, 12, 16 hours, then word spreads, crowds come to the checkpoints, and crowds are then coming too close to checkpoints where there are armed soldiers there. So that's essentially what happened on that incident on Sunday, and you know, it's an absolute tragedy for the families that are affected, but tragedy for all of those that were a part of it, and it should not be allowed to happen. It's completely avoidable. So we estimate that there is approximately a quarter of the population, so 500,000 people in Gaza, are living in famine-like conditions. So this means that they don't know where their next meal has come, or they've had no food for multiple days in a row.
I'm not recording or reporting, I'm just asking.
And I think for families that are involved, if you can imagine anybody that has children, I have children, you imagine what it is like to not be able to feed your children for multiple days, and the impact on the family, but also on the wider community.
Good.
I mean, we're aware of course, of the evacuation orders, which cover more than 85% of the Gaza Strip at the moment, putting all families that are involved. Increasingly, that people have moved more than a dozen times, 20 times, so incredibly destabilizing. But also we're aware of the ceasefire conversations, and I think our perspective is that this is what we need. We're putting all efforts into it, having a ceasefire in place that will allow us with the minimum operating conditions so that we can reach people where they need. And really this is the only hope at this point in time to be able to reach the scale we need to match the desperation that is there. As the Secretary General has said in the various statements from WFP and other UN partners, it is an absolute horror show. And we need action fast, we need action now. We have, in the incidents that we have seen where there are many, many casualties, we have desperate civilians that are putting their lives on the line, and we're doing everything we can to both speak out but also on the ground to try to reach them in as safe and dignified a way as possible.
خلص اول ناس تعالي